Hey guys, in this video I want to continue going over some problems of graphing quadratics. En este video vamos a continuar a practicar cómo hacer la gráfica del cuadrático. So there's three things that you're going to need. You're going to need the y-intercept, the x-intercept, and the vertex. Vamos a necesitar tres características del cuadrático, donde intercepta la y, donde intercepta la x y la vértice. So the first thing you want to do, guys, the best thing to do is change it into graphing form by completing the square. So that's what I'm going to do, okay? Entonces voy a cambiar esto para cambiarlo para que completando el cuadrado. So what you want to do, guys, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it over here. Okay, lo voy a escribir otra vez acá. So you want to complete the square. Now the only thing about completing the square is you cannot have a number here. It has to be a positive 1. So this is a negative, so I'm going to take out a negative 1. Okay, entonces voy a factorizar ese negativo, okay? So remember, factoring is like dividing by, it's like dividing. So when I do that, okay, I'm going to take this negative 1 out, okay? Now remember, this negative 13, este negativo 3 lo voy a poner acá. So the negative 13 moves over to the right. So now that I factor this out, the negative, I'm going to be left with x squared plus 6x. Okay, me queda más positivo. So now this I can go ahead and factor. So now I'm going to go ahead and add, and I'm going to take half of the 6 is 3, and I'm going to square it. Tomo la mitad del 6 y lo cuadro. So then I do the same thing on the left. Hago lo mismo a la mano izquierda. But remember, you see this negative 1, ven este negativo 1, the negative 1 is multiplying everything on the inside, está multiplicando todo lo de dentro. Entonces eso lo tengo que incluir. Okay, ese negativo. So now, when I do this, cuando hago esto, 3 al cuadrado es 9, con ese negativo me da negativo 9. And over here we have a negative, and then I have a factor, voy a factorizar esto, me da x más 3 al cuadrado menos 13. And now all I got to do is bring the 9 across, traigo el 9 al otro lado, se convierte en positivo. So now I have y is equal to negative x plus 3 squared. 13 minus 9 is negative 4. And then from here, I can see what type of quadratic I have. This negative, este negativo, quiere decir que va a ir boca abajo. It's going to go upside down. Okay, and then here, my vertex, la vértice, remember, this becomes the opposite. Se convierte en lo opuesto. So then it's going to become negative 3, negativo 3, y el negativo 4 se queda igual. So that's my vertex, okay? Esa es la vértice. Negativo 3 y negativo 4. Okay? So now I can start graphing that. Puedo hacer el factor de S. Puedo hacer la gráfica de este punto. Negativo 3, 1, 2, 3. Negativo 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 acá abajo. Now remember, this is where your line of symmetry is located. Allí es donde pasa la línea simétrica. Okay, so it's going to go straight down, right through that point. All right, now we forgot the y-intercept. That's the easiest point to get. Donde intercepta la y es el punto más fácil. All you got to go ahead and do is set the x equal to 0. Okay, so the y-intercept is where the x is equal to 0. So we're talking about this point right here, anywhere along this y-axis. Okay, estamos hablando de este axis aquí, donde cruza. So if I set x equal to 0, si pongo el 0 aquí, 0 al cuadrado es 0. 6 por 0 es 0. 0 menos 0 es 0. Y me queda menos 13. So I have negative 13. So the y-intercept is negative 13. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oof. It's too much. Voy a decir que el 3 está acá. I'm just going to say the 13 is over here. Let me just put negative 13 there. All right, just for us. Okay. And now, what you can do, lo que pueden hacer, since I know it's going to go down, sé que va a ir boca abajo. And you see how it's 3 units to the right, then it's going to be 3 units to the left. 1, 2, right here. Because it's symmetrical. Okay? The left is going to look like the right. Okay, just like that. But your professor or your teacher is also going to ask you for the X-Intercepts. Tu maestro, tu profesor también te va preguntar dónde intercepta la X, ¿ok? Y como podemos ver, no cruza la X. Entonces, cuando yo resuelva esto, when I solve these, I should get no real solution. So remember how to find the X-intercept. Okay, so the X-intercept, you're going to set the y equal to 0, okay? Set the y equal to 0. So here's our function, okay? So we're going to take this guy, we're going to set it equal to 0. X plus 3 squared minus 4, we're going to set it equal to 0. And we're going to solve it. Okay, we're going to bring this negative 4 across, becomes a positive 4. Okay, and then we have a negative x plus 3 squared is equal to positive 4. Now we're going to divide by negative 1. Okay, and we're going to end up with x plus 3 squared and equals negative 4. And then what happens? Well, we're going to take the square root. Vamos a tomar la raíz cuadrada. And you can see this simplifies out the square root and the square. So you're going to be left with x plus 3. And the square root of negative 4, well, you can't do that, can you? No se puede tomar la raíz cuadrada del negativo. So this guy is no real solution. There is a solution, but they're called imaginary. But in Algebra 1, we don't talk about those. We'll be dealing with those in Algebra 2. And that's it. Y eso es todo. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can do 2 more problems. A ver si podemos hacer 2 más. All right, let's do some with a fraction. Vamos a hacer esta fracción aquí. All right, so the y-intercept. El primero, y-intercept, you're going to set the x equal to 0. Vamos a poner la x a 0. Este 0, me queda positivo 2. So that gives me positive 2. So let me go ahead and draw my x-axis here. Positive 2, positivo 2. Okay, right here, aquí está. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it. Lo voy a cambiar a completando el cuadrado. I'm going to complete the square. So let's go ahead and write it over here. Y equals 1/2 x squared minus 8. The positive 2, I'm going to move it over here. El positivo 2 lo vamos a poner acá. Okay. So we're going to factor out. Tenemos que factorizar esto. Le tenemos que quitar la mitad. Okay, so we're going to factor out. We're going to pull that guy outside of the parentheses. We're going to be left with x squared minus something. Now, think about it. What number would I have to put here when I take the half of it would give me 8? A lot of students put 4. Muchos estudiantes ponen 4, pero la mitad del 4 no me va a dar 8. Half of 4 is not going to give me 8. So actually, you're going to double this guy. So it would be 16. Okay, so half, right, is dividing it in 2. Well, double is multiplying by 2. So we're doing the inverse operation. So think about it. What's half of 16? Yeah, that's 8. And so that's how we would go about doing it. So then we would continue. Vamos a continuar. And what's half of negative 16? La mitad de negativo 16 is menos 8. Okay, so let's put the x. Y vamos a poner el cuadrado. Okay, we're going to square it. We're going to have plus 2. Now, remember, whatever I add on one side, I have to add on the other. Lo que agregamos a un lado, tenemos que ponerlo al otro lado. So, negative 8 squared. And then you have this 1/2 here. Tenemos la mitad ahí. All right, so negativo 8 al cuadrado es 64. Negative 8 squared is 64. What's half of 64? 32. La mitad del 64 es 32. So now we're going to have 1/2, and we can factor this. Podemos factorizar esto. X menos 8 al cuadrado más 2. Ok, entonces, ¿qué pasa? Ahora nomás menos 32 a los dos lados. Menos 32. Boom. Y equals 1/2 x menos 8 al cuadrado. 2 menos 32 es menos 30. Ok. So now, the vertex, el vértice es fácil. Positivo 8 y menos 30. Negative 30. All right. So now I can go ahead and graph that. So positive 8. Negative 30. Wow, it's way down there. Positivo 8, hay que decir, es muy grande, so it's very good. Voy a contar por 2. I'm going to count by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8. Voy a decir que 8 está acá. El 4 está acá. Okay. El 8 está acá, menos 30. Wow. Voy a contar. Oof, there's a lot of them. I'm going to count by 5. Voy a contar por en 5 en 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and we'll say 30 is down here. Okay, right over here. Vamos a decir que 30 está acá. And this is my vertex. Okay, este es mi vértice aquí. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So now, entonces ahora, yo sé que aquí está 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 acá. So I count it. And they're equally spaced because this axis, I'm saying that they're all counting by 2s. Estoy diciendo que aquí todo estoy contando por igual. Estoy contando por 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. And now you can see I can graph it. Ahora lo puedo hacer la gráfica. Okay. Right here. Okay. Igualmente acá. Now, of course, your teacher is going to ask you for the x-intercepts. Sus maestros le va a preguntar por dónde intercepta la x. Now that you have this, entonces ahora que tienen esto, you're going to go ahead and set the equation equal to 0. Set the y equal to 0, okay? So to find the x-intercept, you want to set the y equal to 0. All right? And then what do? You solve it. Vamos a resolver. Okay, entonces el menos 30 acá se convierte en positivo 30. Okay. 1/2 x minus 8 squared equals 30. Well, how do you get rid of the 1/2? ¿Cómo nos deshacemos de la mitad? Vamos a multiplicar por 2. We're going to multiply by 2. Okay, because this is dividing by 2, so we're going to multiply by 2. So this is going to simplify out. Eso se simplifica. Es 2 sobre 2 es 1. 2 over 2 is 1. So now you have x minus 8 squared, and 30 times 2 is 60. So now what do? Well, we're going to take the square root. Vamos a tomar la raíz cuadrada. Okay, so you're left with x minus 8 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 60. Okay, so now we go ahead and continue. Vamos a continuar. And then all we got to do is bring the negative 8 over. Tenemos que traer el negativo 8 al otro lado. Se convierte en positivo. Now we have the square root of 60. Okay. Now, can you leave it like that? Maybe, but I think your professor is going to ask you to simplify it. Su profesor le va a pedir que lo simplifiquen. Now, what's the square root of 60? Well, the square root of 60, we don't know, but we can break it apart into the square root of 4 times the square root of 15. And you probably hear the train coming by. Okay, 2 square root of 15. Okay, entonces es 8 más o menos. La raíz cuadrada del 4 es 2 y el 15. Okay, y como pueden ver, esto me va a dar decimal. This is going to give you a decimal, so that's why we don't know the exact location. Okay, pero esto me va a dar el local de estos puntos acá. Okay. Entonces este es donde pasa aquí, donde intercepta la X. Okay, vamos a hacer uno más. We're going to do one more, guys. Okay, igualmente, what's the y-intercept? The y-intercept is when we set x equal to 0, la X es igual a 0. Okay, si este es 0 y este es 0, me queda 2. So if this is 0 and this is 0, I'm left with just 2. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. X is positive 2, X is positivo 2. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and convert it to graphing form because that's a lot easier. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this here. And this is very useful when you're graphing conics, because you'll be doing conics in either probably Algebra 2 or pre-calculus. Okay, so what do? We're going to go ahead and move the 2. Okay, vamos a mover el 2. Okay, so you're left with negative 3x squared minus 6x. Positive 2 is here. Okay, I'm going to factor out the negative 3. Voy a factorizar el menos 3 porque no puedo completar el cuadrado con ese 3 enfrente. So I'm going to take it out. Lo voy a sacar. Okay, menos 3. Me queda x cuadrado. 6 entre 3 me da positivo 2. It gives me a positive 2. So now we're going to add something. Okay, what do we add? We're going to half of 2, la mitad de 2 es 1 al cuadrado. Okay, right there, el positivo 2 se queda todavía afuera. Now don't forget, whatever you add on one side, you have to add on the other side. Okay, plus 1 squared. And then don't forget, you have to include that negative 3. Tienen que incluir ese negativo 3. And don't forget here, it's not 3 times 1, it's 1 squared. Primero es 1 al cuadrado es 1, 1 por menos 3 es menos 3, más y. So now I have negative 3 times x squared, whoops, not x squared. And actually it would be, okay, just the x, nomás va a ser la x, okay? And let's see if I can do that here, okay? And just gonna be x plus 1 squared plus 2 más 2. Now what do I do? Entonces ahora me traigo el menos 3, se convierte en positivo 3. So y is equal to negative 3 x plus 1 squared plus 5 más 5. So what's my vertex? Entonces ahora puedo ver la vértice. Es negativo 1, positivo 5. Ese es el local de la vértice. So now, negative 1's here, positivo 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 está acá. Okay. And you can see by that negative, pueden ver por este negativo que va a ser como el primero que hicimos, va a ser boca abajo. It's gonna go concave down. Okay. And I can already start graphing it here because I know that through the vertex is the line of symmetry. Yo sé que por el medio me da la línea simétrica. Entonces, si está a un lado a la derecha, tiene que estar un lado a la izquierda. So if I know it's 1 to the right, it's going to be 1 to the left. Now, of course, we're going to need to find the x-intercept. So now we have this guy. Okay, creo que lo puedo hacer acá. So negative 3 times x plus 1 squared plus 5 equal to 0. Okay. So remember the x-intercept, you got to set the y equal to 0 because we want to know where it crosses the x-axis. Okay. Entonces el positivo 5 se convierte en negativo, it becomes a negative. And so we're left with negative 3 times x plus 1 squared is equal to negative 5. So now we divide by negative 3, dividimos por menos 3. So now we're left with x plus 1 squared, x más 1 al cuadrado. Okay. Negativo entre negativo es positivo, 5 tercios. So you can go ahead and leave it as a fraction. That's what we do in Algebra 1. Okay. Entonces ahora, ¿qué hacemos? Okay. Let's move it up here. So now we're going to go ahead and take the square root. Vamos a tomar la raíz cuadrada. Y cuando toman la raíz cuadrada, tiene que ser el de arriba y el de abajo. And you have to take the square root of everything. So the top and the bottom. So now you're going to be left with x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 5 over the square root of 3. But you can't leave a radical in the denominator. So you have to rationalize it. Well, what does that mean? You have to multiply it by itself to get rid of that radical. And hopefully your teachers have gone over this. Entonces tenemos que, no podemos dejar el radical abajo. So now what happens? This becomes, esto se convierte en 3 por 3 es 9, square root of 9. 3 por 5, 15, square root of 15. And do you know the square root of 9? Yes, you do. La raíz cuadrada del 9 es 3. So abajo va a ser el 3 entero. The bottom is going to be a whole number of 3. Now, all we have to do is bring this positive 1 to the right. And we end up with x is equal to negative 1, negativo 1, más o menos, la raíz cuadrada del 15 sobre 3. Y eso serían las raíces que se dicen de este cuadrático. And this would be the roots of this quadratic. So let's go ahead and connect it here. Vamos a conectar acá, aquí. Y esto, claro que van a ser decimales. Estos van a ser decimales aquí. These are going to be your x-intercepts. Estos de aquí van a ser decimales de esto, lo que ponga mi calculadora. So hopefully, guys, that helps you out and you're getting the hang of these. Good luck, and I'll see you guys next time.